Golf coaching is getting too complicated and golfers are not improving as a byproduct. But today I'm going to simplify things down. With one simple swing thought, you are going to be able to hit your irons better, your wedges better, your driver better. It's going to help with everything. What is this swing thought? Well, let's actually flash some images up on the screen. And as you can see here, we are looking at when the club is level with the lead ankle. Now there is a concept in golf called realignment. Essentially, it is realignment of the lead forearm and the shaft. When does that get back into one straight line? Now we can also add a tiny bit extra to that, is when does the lead forearm, the shaft and the club face all realign back up into one straight line? Now when we study this, we see the best players in the world pretty much all do this in exactly the same point with every single club. It's right by the lead ankle. Now if we understand that, then that is going to help us simplify every single club down. So the reason why this is going to help us simplify every single club down is if I set up to an 8-iron like I have here, and I take this realignment position here where the lead forearm, the shaft and the club face are all lined up at my left ankle, and now I come back to where the ball is, look at that, it's generated the right amount of shaft lean that I need for this particular club. Why? Because the ball position is back in the stance, meaning I'm going to hit it earlier on in the arc, creating the shaft lean naturally. Now if I grab my lob wedge and I set up exactly the same way that I normally do, you can see right here the ball's a little bit further back. So if I go to this realigned position, lead forearm, the club, and the club face is square right there in one straight line, and then I come back to this position, you can see naturally that's generated more shaft lean than the 8-iron. Well, that's what I need for this wedge right here. And this is going to then allow me, boom, to realign back at the left ankle. And finally, if I do it with my driver, again, this ball position is going to be so much further forwards in my stance. It's only going to be maybe half a club head width behind that sort of center of the lead ankle. So if that's the realigned position, as I come back, you can see it offers me pretty neutral to maybe a couple of degrees of shaft lean right there. So again, this realigned position, what it's done is it's basically gone, look, I can have the same swing thought with every single club. As long as I get back to this position where at the left ankle, my lead forearm, the back of the left wrist is nice and flat, the shaft's in one straight line, and the club face is square, guess what? Everything else is going to take care of itself. Now, before we actually talk about how to train this position, we got to talk about the most common issue in golf when it comes to not being able to achieve this realigned position at the lead ankle. And it's that golfer who casts the club out early. Now, this happens, I would say 95% of the time for one main reason, and that is an open club face. The reason for this is shaft lean in itself. So the more we start to add shaft lean, the more the club face is going to point to the right. So what our body does is if the club face is open, it actually has to force us to get into a position to where at impact we go past this realigned position to where we're scooping it. Why? Because that closes the face down, so it allows us to square the face up. So here is a really quick way to ensure that the club face is in a great position throughout your swing, so that when you get back to this realigned position, lead forearm, club are in one straight line, and the club face is nice and square. Here's the first thing you got to get right. You got to get your arm positioning right at address. People get this wrong and you have no chance of squaring the face if this is wrong. So what I want you to do is just let your arms just hang straight down. Now, as you can see, my left arm naturally, when it hangs straight down, also sort of twists inwards slightly. So what I want you to do is to make sort of a thumbs up sign, let your arm just hang down and turn that so it's at a 45-degree angle. Then from there, take the club and drop it into the hand right there. Make sure the face is nice and square. And you can see what this has done is it's got my lead forearm and the shaft in one straight line, club face square, and a couple of knuckles visible on my lead hand. So this is now going to help me want to square that face up naturally on the way down. What we're going to do then with the right hand is we're going to turn it so the palm points away from us. You can see that gets the bicep pointing towards you there. And then from there, bring your arm across and then grip the club just like so, keeping that arm in that same position. So now my arms are in a position to where they're going to want to return back to a point where we can achieve that realignment without having to make any compensations. Then from there in the backswing, just some really simple guides. I like to use the trail hand as a great guide in terms of it's going to match your club face, presuming you have a good grip. So if I get that trail hand pointing a little bit more down to the ground, that's going to get the face in a good spot. trail palm pointing a little bit more up to the sky. That's going to get it in a good spot at the top of the backswing. Again, pointing slightly down to the ground. It's going to get the club face in a good position there, to where then I can get into this good realigned position just after impact somewhere around that left ankle. So again, make those changes. If you are that golfer who casts out, you have to fix your club face first, because otherwise you're going to do this realignment stuff and you're going to come back and that face is going to be wide open and you're not going to be able to repeat that motion, because if you do, you're going to hit everything so far to the right, so your body is going to fight that. So let's now talk through how you can train this motion. So what I have here is a golf club, an alignment stick, and an impact bag. If you don't have an impact bag, no worries. Use an alignment stick and go up against something like a tire if you have one of them, a cushion, even your sofa, just any sort of flat surface that you can put in line with your left ankle. In this situation, there are two variations that you can do. You could do it with a golf club or you could do it with an alignment stick. Now, obviously you don't want to damage your golf club or anything like that, so an alignment stick is going to be fantastic. So the way I like to do it is I like to imitate the club that I want to rehearse. So as you can see here, I've got an 8 iron. Okay, so I'm going to grip down to about this position here, which is the length of my 8 iron. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up with the impact bag where I'm going to hit it right in line with my middle of my left ankle right there. Now, my whole feeling is going to be set up to an imaginary golf ball like normal, swing to the top and then swing all the way down and pause at impact and rehearse coming back to this position. Now, what am I looking to see? I'm looking to see the lead forearm, the left wrist being flat and the shaft all in one straight line. Now, if we had a club face as well, I would want that to be square. So just do that a couple of times and just learn what it starts to feel like. And I can really feel that lead wrist coming back to a nice flat position. So that's the first variation. Now, if you do have something you can hit with a golf club, fantastic. Set up like normal and then swing to the top and then come down and pause there. And you can see as I'm coming back to this realigned position, lead forearm, shaft one straight line, left wrist, the logos on the back of my gloves sort of pointing down towards the target, club face is nice and square. So that's an awesome exercise for you to do to help you train this realigned position. So let's now run through the second exercise, which is called the stop drill. Now, the stop drill is actually something that you can do out on the golf course in your pre-shot routine. Again, this is something that I do. So what I'm going to get you to do is just inside of the golf ball, is just make a swing, go all the way to the top, come back down to this left ankle position and realign everything in one straight line. So lead forearm, club and club face nice and square. So to the top, come back down, to the top, come back down. Now I'm going to hit a goal shot with that in the back of my mind and see if I can recreate that same feeling. That is going to be a really simple way of helping you go, okay, with every single club, I'm going to feel that realigned position, and that's therefore going to take care of impact. If I now demonstrate with a lob wedge, again, set up there, I'm going to be focusing on that realigned position at the left ankle. So let's see if I can get this club back into a good spot. And finally, let me do it with the driver. Again, I'm feeling that same realigned position. So let's give this drive a whack. And the beautiful thing about this is I'm feeling the same position, but because I'm changing the club and also the ball position, impact changes itself, which is amazing about this. It just simplifies everything down. Now, if you have questions about this, please ask away. If you want more one-to-one coaching, I offer online coaching on the Skillist platform. The link is down below. And if you have enjoyed today's video, please give it a like and subscribe, and I hope to see you back here soon.